Hello all. Today we are going to start the fourth unit. So till now we have discussed about the hypersonic air breathing propulsion. Now onwards we are going to discuss about the non-air breathing devices. So non-air breathing devices nothing but a rocket propulsion. So is it important to study the nuclear rocket propulsion? Whether it can be useful for advanced propulsion? So these are the questions normally will come into your mind. So we can answer all those questions in this session. So nuclear rocket propulsion. So where and all we are using other than the aviation sector means, so we are using mainly for the power plant sites. You can see in our country itself we have a number of nuclear power plant where what we are doing, we are generating the electricity power. So mainly it will be working on the Rankine cycle we can say, otherwise Stirling cycle we can say. How it is works? Normally if you want to generate the any electrical power, what we are doing in the power plant means we are heating the working fluid. So what are the working fluid we are using? Normally we are using water. If you are heating the water, it will generate the steam. Then the steam will be allowed into the turbine. Based on the rotation of the turbine, it will generate the electrical power. This is what the electrical power and all generated by using a steam power plant. If you want to heat the water, we need the enormous amount of energy. From where we are getting the energy? That's why we are using the nuclear rocket. In other places we are using the coal also. Whichever, if you want to generate the any thermal energy, we need to burn. If you burn it, we will get the energy. So this is the alternative way of getting the power. So here what we are doing, we are generating the nuclear energy. So by using of this energy, you can heat any element and whatever working fluid we can heat. By heating we will be getting the further uses, whether it can be useful for the power or whether it can be useful for the thrust. So we'll start from that the introduction. So first of all my question is, can we travel to the outer space with using of normal chemical propulsion? So chemical propulsion means already we know. So we have solid rocket propellant solid rocket propellant and liquid rocket propellant, and otherwise we have that the hybrid. So we have number of chemical propellant here. If you burn the chemical propellant, can we able to reach the outer space? We can reach, but problem is we need to carry a more amount of fuel. If you carry more amount of fuel, then we cannot carry any payload. The useful payload we cannot carry. That is a problem. So if you want to carry more amount of payload, we need to reduce the inert masses, which means the amount of carrying the propellant and structural support. All the support if you are reducing mean we can go. And moreover, in outer space we don't want to have higher thrust. We need a small amount of thrust that is more than enough to accelerate the any object. So if you use a chemical rocket means obviously it will be giving that higher thrust. Then there is no use of using the higher thrust. So we can go with the lower thrust winner. Same time we want that the higher specific impulse. For this purpose only we are going to use the nuclear rocket propulsion. So here when we have discovered this technology mean, that is a 20th century, even same in the United States and Russia, they have invented this technology. Before that, I think the German scientist, he discovered the how we can get the nuclear energy from the atoms. Okay, so basically how we can get the energy means, if you have that the any what is called the material normally how they have discovered me, they had the beryllium. In the beryllium they just injected that the alpha ray. So during that time they have observed that some energy is liberated and it is releasing that the some uncharged particle. They have given the name that is called that the neutrons. So from the point they have started, later on they are giving that the names, like that is that the gamma ray, like that they have given that the name also. That is the starting point how we got that the this nuclear technology. So later these people, United States and Russia, they have invented the nuclear rocket propulsion. Rocket propulsion. So what they have concluded means this technology we can use for the future space missions. And what are the, I think, challenges we have? Okay, challenges mean normally, we can't use that the nuclear technology. We can't use a nuclear technology. There is some limitation. So even we can't, I think, conduct that the any nuclear testing also. If you want to do any nuclear testing, we need to get the approval from the world organization. So we need to give that the prior information, because problem is it is highly explosive, which means once the reaction is started, then you cannot control that the reaction. I think you people are remembering about the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, what happened during those time. So they only, I think, that is a place, the American, they put the bomb, that is a nuclear bomb. So due to the chain reaction, that is uncontrollable reaction, what happened after that. So these are the problems we have to develop this technology. So that is a problem we are, not only the whole world is facing this kind of the problems. And why it is required, that is also particularly for the space travel. First of all, it is giving extreme power. You can't even imagine how much power it will give during the reaction. So thing is, only we are making the neutron to hit any elements. Normally, what are the fuel we are using for the nuclear propulsion or nuclear power plant? Mean uranium or plutonium we are using. So for that, only you are making interaction with the any neutron, that is uncharged particle. So due to that, it is liberating more amount of energy. It is in the million volt. Okay, that much power it will give. That is the first advantages. That's why um, we are specifying for the space mission. Second one is the reduced fuel consumption. Normally, if you take any chemical rocket propulsion and it will be consuming more amount of fuel, and same time it is giving that higher thrust also. Okay, which means it will be carrying more amount of fuel along with the vehicle, then it is giving that the thrust. But here it will consume less amount of fuel, but same time it will give optimum performance, like higher specific impulse. Wherever thrust is required, it will give the higher thrust also. And obviously we can increase that the payload carrying capacity. And third one is the higher propellant efficiency. This is the major criteria why we are selecting this propulsion system for the space. If you take the any chemical propulsion, not only chemical propulsion, here if you use that the any jet propulsion also, when compared to the nuclear propulsion, this will utilize that the propellant. The way of utilizing that the propellant is extremely good. So it is giving higher efficiency. That's why we are choosing this system for normally space. So this is a schematic diagram of nuclear rocket engine. Here you can see all the components. So how it is working? So basically, what propellant we are using, liquid hydrogen we are using, fuel we are using, uranium or plutonium you can use. So here only we can specify that the two terms, one is the propellant, another one is the fuel. Normally for the chemical propulsion and all, we will be using either fuel or propellant. But here we have the two separate terms, fuel and propellant. Here propellant is fixed, always we will be using the hydrogen. So in previous classes we have discussed why we are using the hydrogen, and due to the low molecular weight, and that will give the high specific impulse also. Here the fuel we are using the uranium. Uranium, already I told you, that will be highly radiative also and highly reactive. Thing is, if you want to use for any useful purposes, we need to control the chain reaction. Once the chain reaction initiated, then it will keep on going. You can't control also. That's why here the control rods, moderator, all those things, radiation shield, everything is given. The radiation shield. So what is the use of radiation shield? It will protect the human from the radiation. As during the reaction, obviously it will radiate. And here what will happen mean, from the fuel pump we are just passing the liquid hydrogen, that will be passing through all the nozzle walls. Why we are passing through the nozzle wall mean, it will be acting as a coolant. So then it will getting into the nuclear reactor. So we are initiating the nuclear reaction. So due to the reaction, the more amount of heat energy will be liberated. So due to the heat energy, when the liquid hydrogen passing through it, it will be absorbing the heat, then later it will be getting vaporized, then it will become that the steam. Those steam, not steam, it will be vaporized gases, then it will be passing through the nozzle, it is giving the higher jet velocity. So this is what the nuclear rocket engines working. So normally there are the three ways we are getting the useful energy. One is at the fission, another one is at the radioisotope decay, the last one is the fusion. So this is what we are going to discuss one by one. Here you can go through whatever I explained based on the diagram that only I have given here. This is the nuclear fission. So initially we have taken that the uranium-235, and here we are passing that the low speed neutron, and we are interacting with the uranium-235. So what will happen mean the mass number will increase, 236 it will increase. Okay, so normally what is the proton number for the uranium? 92, and 236 in, then it will be unstable. So due to the unstable condition, what will happen, that this one will start splitting into two elements. What are the two elements we will be getting? Barium and krypton. So during the reaction, it will liberate more amount of heat energy, and same time three free neutron it will release. Then what will happen when these three free neutrons, it will be collide with that the another uranium-235, then it will start reacting it. This is what called the chain reaction. So here what is our role mean? So here in the three free neutron released, we need to control that the neutrons. If you allow all the three neutron to make interact with the uranium-235 mean, again it will continue the chain reaction. By controlling the these free neutrons, you can control that the chain reaction also. Then based on that you can minimize that the power, the amount of power liberated inside the reactor. This is called that the nuclear fission. So what are the advantages we will be getting by using a nuclear fission mean? So normally we have conducted the two tests, ground level test also, and we have operated in the different atmosphere. So what are the things we are getting? We are evaluated the thrust and the specific impulse. The specific impulse we are getting around the 900 seconds, and thrust 40,000 Newton. And when we are conducting the ground level test, we are getting 980,000 Newton, and same time 848 second also. If you compare with the chemical rocket propulsion, 900 seconds we are getting, that is a twice the specific impulse of chemical rockets. So normally in the liquid rocket engine only will give around that the 450 second specific impulse. So here we are double the specific impulse. This is the main advantage of using the nuclear fission. And till now, one more thing, we we have not developed any nuclear fission based rockets, which means it's all under the research only, all under research, which means officially we didn't announce that the, and officially we didn't fly any object which is using the nuclear fission. And another problem of here 2500 degree Kelvin, 2500 Kelvin, which means when we are liberating that the energy, liberating the during the reaction, the heat also generated. So here when the hydrogen comes and interact with the those heat, it will be observing the temperature. So the temperature goes beyond the 2500 Kelvin. The same time we need to choose the proper material to hold those hydrogen. That is a very important. So here what will happen, based on the nuclear reaction, the heat energy also increasing, same time the temperature which is occurring inside the reactor also increasing. If the temperature keeps on increasing, that will be problem for the material. So normally what we need to do, we need to select the proper material for the reactor, core reactor. Okay, so next technology, that is a radioactive isotope decay. So for this thing we should have gone through that the basics of nuclear and atomic behaviors. So here, so many radioactive elements we have. If you just see that the periodic table, so you can see that the number of radioactive elements, there are some conditions for it. Whichever proton number more than 90, 90 we can say that that is the radioactive elements. radioactive element, sorry, totally mass number more than 200 also we can say that is a radioactive elements. And what will happen? Hmm? So normally if you take that the hydrogen also, that is also the hydrogen, the atomic number for the hydrogen is the 1 atomic number, mass number of the hydrogen also 1. But for the hydrogen we have that the two isotopes. Okay, when we are adding that the one more neutron, the mass number will be increased. Again one more neutron if you add me, the mass number again it will be increased. These are the two isotopes. We can say that the tritium, these are the isotopes we can say, which means these are the unstable condition. If it is 1h power 1 mean that is a stable condition, it will not radiate any energy. But at the same time, if you have that the 1h3 mean that is a unstable. So if anything is unstable mean what will happen? It will try to reach that the stable condition. So for that it need to release that the whatever extra it has. So it will start releasing that the neutron. When it is start releasing that the neutron, it will radiate the energy. So this is what we can say that the radioactive isotope decay, whichever it start from that the hydrogen also it is the, and this is a basically which are the things we can unstable mean based on the atomic number and mass number also we can say. If you take that the any atom in the number of protons should be equal to number of neutron. So if it is not satisfying mean that is called isotope. This is also we can say the number of protons should be equal to number of neutron. If it is not matching, it is naturally unstable. Naturally unstable. Those unstable element which start, I think, giving that the neutron or releasing that the neutron. That is also based on the mass number also we can say. Otherwise, based on the amount of neutrons available in the nucleus, that also we can say whether it is called that the stable or unstable. So here just to go through this other thing. Next one is that the nuclear fusion. So nuclear fusion, that is the very known method. Very known method mean where actually it is happen. We can take that the example sun. In sun, how it is keep on emitting that the energy. Actually, what happened? What's happening on the sun? So what is happening mean that is a blasting happening. Okay. So initially when in fusion what we have I observed mean we have that the higher energy mass when it is interacting with that the one low speed neutron mean it starts splitting. Here what is happening, we have that the very low, so very low mass elements we have. When it start combining, there is a reaction that is called that the nuclear fusion. So here what are the things we have? Deuterium, tritium. These two things are nothing but that the hydrogen only. Already I told you 1h power 1 mean that is the hydrogen, normal hydrogen. 1h power 2, 1h power 3 mean we have that the extra neutrons. When we have that the extra 2 neutrons, this is called that the isotope. This is the isotope of hydrogen. Tritium, deuterium is called that the isotope of hydrogen. When these two interacting with each other, which means the blasting happening on the sun, due to that it is releasing that the helium. When it is releasing that the helium, that is at the stable, during those time it is generating that the energy, and obviously it is releasing that the neutron also. This is called that the nuclear fusion. But if you want to make this reaction, we need some constraints. Normally in earth we can't make those reaction. The reason is you want to have that the some 150 million degree we should have, 150 million degree, and same time pressure also we should have that the high pressure and higher temperature, then only this reaction is possible. Otherwise this is not possible. So till now we never developed that the nuclear fusion. Normally in future it may happen, but till now, till this date, we never done any nuclear fusion in earth because it's very difficult to execute also. That's why it is happening only on the sun. So because of this reaction only we are continuously getting the energy, it is emitting the energy. Now we can compare that the liquid rocket engine and nuclear thermal rocket engine. So why we are comparing with the liquid rocket engine mean, you can see these two engine. So here we have that the combustion chamber, instead of this combustion chamber, here we are replaced with the nuclear reactor. This is the only one difference between the liquid rocket engine and nuclear thermal rocket engine. So here also we have that the fuel and oxidizer, and we are using that the turbo pumps for driving the fuel and oxidizer from the storage tank. Here also we have that the same devices, we have turbo pump to drive that the hydrogen from the top of the engine to the lower side of the engine also. So almost we have that the same only, just only one difference. Here in liquid rocket engine we have the combustion chamber part, here we have that the nuclear reactors. And in the performance side, so this will give around that the 450 seconds, that is a specific impulse. This one will give around that the 900 seconds, that is for the fission. And if you use that the in future slide we are going to discuss about the types of nuclear rocket propulsion. In that we are increasing the specific impulse, that and all we can discuss. So now anyway we want to know that what are the basic things available in the nuclear reactor. Okay, we are going to discuss one by one. So here you can see the diagram. We have the support plate, reflector, structural member, core. So what are the use of these things? Okay, reflector, why it is required mean, so during the reaction what will happen, it will release that the free neutron. When the free neutron released, it will be reflect on the reflector, then again it will come back inside the core reactor. That is the use of reflector. This is mainly useful for to control the reaction also same time. And core we are using that the material, if it is a solid core material mean we will be using the solid material. If it is a gas mean we have that the gas phase fuel we will be having. If it is a liquid mean liquid based fuel we will be having. So based on the type of nuclear rocket we will be having that the core material. If it is solid core mean what we will be using mean we are using that the uranium 235, which mean since it is a solid base we are using that the carbide based, carbide also otherwise lithium based. So these are the core material we are using. And here you can see that the control Poisson. What is the control Poisson mean? There you can see that the beryllium, there will be a one control term that will be rotating. When the neutron releasing from the reaction, if it is touch on that the helium, it will release that the it will comes back. Otherwise what will happen in another side, if it is heat mean it there will be no reflection also. So by using of this technology you can control the reactions. That is the use of control Poisson. Normally we will be using the uranium and plutonium fuels. Okay, how the source of energy is created inside that the inside the nuclear reactors, and how the reaction is triggering. Okay, so which means basically by controlling of neutron, at the same time we are initiating that the neutron. Initially if you want to start the reaction mean you have to trigger that the neutron. Okay, with the fissionable atom. Here what is a fissionable atom? That is a uranium. After that it will be sustaining reaction. Once it is started then self-sustaining. And here if you want to control the chain reaction we need to control the movement of neutron. That is what we need to do. And what are the components we have? As I told, first one we can say reflector. So what is the role of reflector? Reflects the neutron produced in the reaction back into the core. So obviously that is what I told in the previous slide. So during the reaction obviously it will be releasing that the 3 neutrons. In the 3 neutron, how many neutrons will reflect back? We don't want to reflect all the 3 neutron also. If you reflect all the 3 neutron, again the chain reaction will be initiated. Then you imagine, so how many times it will react with the uranium 235. So you need to control that, and same time it will prevent the neutron leakage also, and same time is maintain that the balance inside the reactor. And by using a reflector you can minimize the size of reactor. And what is the material we are using? Beryllium. Next one is the moderator. Moderator, it will slow down the neutrons in the reactor. Okay, so if you want to start the reaction, we need to have that the low speed neutron, but after the reaction what will happen, it will release at the high speed neutron. So again, if you want to self sustain the reaction, mean you need to slow down the neutron. That's why we are using the moderator, and it is mainly made up of the low atomic mass material. So lithium hydride and the graphite material and all we are using to make the moderator. Next, fuel element contains a fissile fuel. So what is the fuel we are using? Uranium and plutonium only. And here you can see that the number of propellant flow channels that you can see in the diagram. Next, control rods. The control rod, what is the use of control rod mean? That will absorb the neutrons. If it is releasing that the 3 neutrons, mean it will absorb that the 2 neutron, then it will reflect only 1 neutron. So that 1 neutron only will go for the next reaction, and it will decrease and control the neutron population and control the reaction rate also. And moreover, if you fully insert the control rod, mean you can shut down the reaction. Okay, that is the main use of these control rods. Then now we can just compare the advantages and disadvantages of the nuclear rocket propulsion. So we can start with the high specific impulse. Here, by using a nuclear technology, we can increase the specific impulse of 2 times to 10 times higher than that the chemical rockets. And next, low specific mass. So what is the meaning of low specific mass? Mean if you want to generate the 1 unit power, we are using very minimum amount of fuel. That is the meaning of low specific mass. Here you can see it is denoted as a kg per kilowatts, which means if you are generating 1 kilowatt means how much amount of fuel you are using. So normally it will be very less. Then high power allows the high thrust. So based on the application, whether you want to generate the higher thrust or the lower thrust, that will be controlled by that the power. Obviously, here by using this technology, it is releasing the more amount of energy. Next is a higher thrust by weight ratio. That's what I initially told. Here the weight of the, which means the inert mass of the whole rocket will be less when compared to the chemical rocket. Obviously it will be giving that the higher thrust. So due to the reason, we will be having the high thrust to weight ratio. Next is the reduced radiation for some mission. So radiation is the major problem for using the nuclear rocket. So here some another methods are used there, some alternative method how we can reduce the radiation. So if you fully nullify that the radiation mean, so that is the betterment of any nuclear rocket propulsion. That is what we want actually, but anyway there will be some radiation when we are using that the nuclear rocket. Next, disadvantages I mean, so in the beginning of this talk I told you that is a political issue and a social issue. Even if you want to do any test, okay, if you want a nuclear test, if anything, if you are doing, mean obviously we will be getting that the problem from other countries, obviously from the world also. That is a main issue when we are using that the nuclear technology. And low technology readiness level. So that is what in the fusion already told. The fusion we are using at the uh, very low, otherwise we can say the very less mass elements. For example, we are using that the hydrogen, okay, isotope of hydrogen we are using, tritium we are using to make the reaction, but to make it successful we don't have such a technology. So these are the problem in the nuclear rockets. And radiation issues, okay, obviously if you are making that the radiation shield also, anyway you can't avoid that the some of the radiation problem. Okay, anyway we are running that the all the nuclear power plant, so without any problem. But anyway always there is problem, always there is some problem whenever it may happen. So we have to be ready how we can overcome those problems, how we can minimize the problem. So that is what we need to do the current time. Next, in the high inert masses. High inert masses mean so based on the application only we can say, not for the all the cases. So now So we are just going to discuss types of nuclear rocket. Already I told you solid core nuclear thermal rocket, gas core nuclear thermal rocket, liquid core nuclear thermal rocket, nuclear power electric rocket, nuclear pulse rocket, nuclear fission fragment rocket. We'll start with the solid core. So this is nothing but that the NERVA. It was developed around that the 1976. NERVA means okay, nuclear energy for rocket vehicle application. Rocket vehicle application. So here what we are using mean the inside the core, which mean we have that the nuclear reactor. So inside we are using the solid core we are using. So solid core is nothing but the so uranium in the form of solid form. Okay, the whatever it will be aligned with that the carbide or any hydride. Okay, basically we are using that the graphite or graphite or carbide we are using as a solid core material. That is a different. Other things are same only. Okay. uh, so here how it is working mean liquid hydrogen moves through that the channel and it is heated by that the reactor. So reactor mean inside the nuclear reaction is happening. So due to the reaction it will be release more amount of energy. So due to the heat energy it will be heating the liquid hydrogen, then it will be ejected through the exhaust nozzle. This is what will happen. But here other variants are there. We have that the liquid and the gas core nuclear rocket. So how it will work mean, so instead of solid core we will be having the liquid or gas core. So in the liquid means okay, we are using along with the salt water that is mainly using for the ship propulsion. So which means the uranium in the form of liquid. That is the difference. Okay, and here gas also it is in the form of gas, which means if you are taking that the gas mean there is a some amount of uranium should be there, some entry amount, the percentage wise it should be there. So based on that only we can categorize the whether it is a liquid or a gas core or solid core, we can say. Here you can see the gas core nuclear thermal rocket in the gaseous form uses gaseous fuel. So we are using the low molecular weight of fuel. More low molecular weight of fuel mean we need to identify which gas is the lower molecular weight. So along with this we need to align the uranium. So here we have that the two, one is the open cycle and the closed cycle. So other working principle and all same. Next one is at the pulse nuclear thermal rocket. This you might have heard about that. The few years back, I think what we can say in the SpaceX, that is the private space agency, has sent the Orion spacecraft to the Van Allen's belt. Okay, it carrying that the what is called that the astronauts also. It can carry that the astronaut also. So Orion, what is the use of Orion mean? It is just going very close to the Van Allen's belt mean that is around the Earth. Okay, it will be the it is the radiation shield for our Earth. Okay, so here how it is working? Pulse nuclear thermal rocket mean just it is dropping the nuclear bombs. Okay, outside the rocket and maintaining them the some distance between the bomb and the reactor. So what will happen during the blasting, it will be generating that the blasting waves. So those blasting wave it will move and it will hit the object, then it will hit back also. So we are using those shock wave for propelling the nuclear rockets. Okay, so we are utilizing that the shock waves for propelling that the object, that is called that the pulse nuclear thermal rocket. And here we can compare all the whichever types we have studied till now. First one is a solid core nuclear thermal rocket. So here we have the specific impulse around the 850 to 1000 specific impulse, that is a maximum specific impulse it can give. And thrust also it will be producing more. And next one is the nuclear power electrical rocket. So electrical rocket, this is what I missed because it will be covered in the next unit. How means, so if you want to operate any electrical rocket, whether it is the arc jet or the ion jets, otherwise if you are using that the plasma or any magnetic field, the thing is you need to have the electrical energy to heat the any working fluid. So if you want to heat the working fluid, what we are doing mean we are carrying the nuclear system as a power plant. So normally along with the electrical rocket, we are using that nuclear reactor for generating the electrical energy. So we are utilizing the electrical energy to heat the working fluid. That is what we will be doing in the electrical rocket. Okay, that is called the nuclear power electrical rocket. So it will be giving around 2000 to 3000 specific impulse, and thrust is low. Okay, obviously you know the reason. In outer space we don't want higher thrust, even particularly if when you use the nuclear power electrical rocket. So for example, iron rockets you are using it, we are using the xenon as a propellant. When you are using xenon as a propellant, we are taking one atom, we are ionizing that one atom, then through compartment we are accelerating. So it will be giving very low thrust, and same time it will be giving that the higher specific impulse. Next one is the gas core nuclear thermal rocket. So it will be giving around 1500 to 3000 specific impulse, and thrust also higher. So you will be getting better performance than solid core nuclear rocket. That is advantage of gas core nuclear thermal rocket. Next one is a nuclear pulse rocket. Maximum specific impulse more than 10,000, because we are using the pulses. The pulses generated from the blasting. Okay, which means we are dropping the bomb outside the rockets. So due to that we will be getting the pulse. That pulse will be, okay, we have that the kind of shutter or that the plate on the surface. So we are utilizing the pulse to move the objects. So due to that the specific impulse for this technology we will be getting more than 10,000, and the extremely high thrust you will be getting, because we want to travel beyond the atmosphere. If you want to cross that the lower earth orbit, mean we are using this kind of technology. And nuclear salt water rocket, that is nothing but the liquid core. Okay, liquid core nuclear thermal rocket, mainly using for that the ship propulsion and all. And final one is the nuclear fission fragment rocket. This is also one kind of, we are not, I think, using familiarly. Where what we are doing mean here one uh, um, magnesium, I think, AM-232, that is a fuel we are using. Okay, AM-232, that is a one isotope only. Okay, that is one isotope. By using of this isotope we can produce at the propulsive forces. So if you use this technology we will be getting specific impulse around that the 1 lakh, not 1 lakh, 10 lakh, and it will be giving moderate thrust levels. So now, so till now we have discussed about the introduction part of nuclear rocket propulsion. The next class onwards we will be discussing about how to design and what are the performance parameter, how we can evaluate the performance. So here we have some formulas, also numerical formulas we have. If it is required we can solve some problems also in this area, just to go through. So if you want to know more about the nuclears, okay, we want to know about the periodic table, how the protons, neutrons and all available. If you take any atom in, so within the atom if you take any nucleus, we have that the proton and neutron. So around these things only we have that the electron also. So here movement of electrons, proton, neutron. Proton mean that is a positively charged particles, and neutron there will be no charge neutrally, and electron mean negatively charged. By if you want, if you are changing the proton mean, so which are the characteristics they change. Okay, by changing the proton, neutron, electron, there is a change in physical chemical characteristic of the elements. Okay, by changing that the neutron, so there will be no change in that the element remains same. Okay, for example if you are taking the hydrogen, if you are adding that the number of neutrons 1 2, if you are to increase still it remains as a hydrogen only. Same time if you are increasing that the proton, the hydrogen will become that the helium. Again if you are adding in, then lithium, like that it will be changing. So those are the things you go through. And basics of nuclear rockets, what are the components we have inside that. Okay, you just briefly go through the content. So again I will forward the PPT as well as So whichever textbook I have followed for these contents, I have followed the textbook other than the syllabus, because in the syllabus whichever books they have mentioned, so in that I couldn't find out any topics, so I have referred that the purely nuclear rocket propulsion you can just type in the LiveGen. And moreover, one more thing is jet propulsion, nuclear propulsion, electric propulsion, like that one more textbook is there. If you type in the LiveGen, you'll be getting. Otherwise, I will be forwarding the link to you. Okay, just to go through the contents. Thank you all. If you have any doubt, let me know.